Am I speaking? There we go, look at that. Thanks very much. Hi everyone, my name's Gavin Strange and I'm here in Belfast and I'm from Bristol originally. Let's check my clicker works. No, it doesn't. This is excellent. No. Hey, look at that. It's quite appropriate, it says break. So, build, break, do, make. When Andy, who got me over here and curated it along with everyone else who's helped get me here, says, oh, it'd be nice to do a poster. Nice to do a poster for everyone here. And that's what you see on your seats and that you can grab that are over there. So just kind of looking at the iconic build logo, I thought, okay, I'd like to kind of do something with that. The Jam Factory symbol is who I am. Jam Factory is kind of what I do in my spare time. That's kind of my alias, if you will. So I just kind of titled it, I don't know why, Build, Break, Do, Make. I don't know why, I just kind of like rhyming words, and that's not kind of the title of this talk. It was billed as an evening with Gavin Strange. And if it's going to be an evening, then I think it should be comfortable. So what I'm going to do is, it's an evening, I'm going to get flipping comfy. So I brought my slippers, and I'm going to do the talk in my slippers. So you'll have to bear with me, because, you know, if we're going to get comfy, let's get sorted. There should be some sound on that. Oh, okay, well the song that you would hear is Careless Whisper by George Michael. So if we all just start, if we can all hum that. I can't believe I'm actually doing this. I can't do the next bit. Anyway, let me get my slippers on, let me get comfy. Here we go. Yep, professional. Right, so I guess kind of I should explain kind of who I am. So by day, I'm senior designer for Arm & Digital. Now, Arm & Digital is the kind of digital arm of Urban Animations in Bristol. So everyone knows them for stop motion animation, Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep, amongst many other things. But they do an awful lot of stuff. They do an awful lot of TV commercials, of feature films, things like Chicken Run, Arthur Christmas and The Pirates are being made at the minute. So there's an awful lot of exciting stuff that happens there. And I work for the digital department. And we kind of started about nearly 4 years ago now. And it was really to facilitate the needs of kind of Wallace and Gromit would need a website, and Shaun the Sheep would need a website, and you know, things like that. So we were kind of built there to kind of take these characters, these much-loved characters, and build like a digital home for them. But over time, that's kind of grew and grew, and we don't just make stuff for Wallace and Gromit and just Aardman Properties. We make our own stuff, whether it's just our own ideas, and we do stuff for clients. So we're kind of like this little small design boutique within the might of Aardman, which is just an amazing opportunity, really. You know, I get to kind of muck around and push pixels all day while just, you know, walking into model making and seeing people making small miniature figures. It's absolutely fantastic. And we do loads of stuff from kind of simple websites for characters to events to games. We do an awful lot of games, and we're kind of branching out into, we started with just simple Flash games and we're moving into iOS games and things like that. So basically, I spend all day colouring stuff in and making stuff pretty. But when I go home at night, I'm just going to move my little shoes there, I don't need them anymore. I go under the alias of Jam Factory. Now, that's just kind of, I did that before I came to Aardman. I worked for myself for 4 years, calling myself Jam Factory simply because I couldn't think of a better name, to be honest. I needed an available domain name, and just my boss went, you probably need to sort yourself out a portfolio site. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. When I was a wee nipper, and I went, right, Jam Factory, available, brilliant, done, there we go. So it's kind of taken on its own life, really, where I've kind of become a bit of a jack of all trades and try my hand at absolutely everything. And I mean everything. It doesn't matter that I can do it or can't do it. That's irrelevant. You know, why would you let that stop you? I just kind of like giving things a go. And that's really what this talk is about, really. It's kind of showing you some of my work, the kind of stories behind it, and just hopefully you guys can see, if this flipping idiot can be here talking to you about design, then you're like, you know, you must be thinking, well, I've got talent and skill and charisma and personality, and I can apply myself and do amazing things, much better than this flipping idiot. So hopefully I'm kind of I'd like to inspire you just to go and do stuff, because I'm an idiot and you're not, and you can make amazing stuff. So that's really the concept, the high concept behind this talk. And this kind of says it all, really. I am a jack of all trades and master of football, literally, you know. But I love doing all of it. I love kind of trying my hand at, as you'll see, I kind of go into photography and toys and kind of literally everything, because I want to give it a go. And most of the times, these opportunities haven't arisen because someone's gone, oh, hey, I saw you do web design. Would you like to invent a toy? No, I've just kind of gone, well, no one's asking me this, and they're not asking me for a good reason, but that doesn't matter. I'll start it myself. I started a creative collective of people called Synthetic many years ago that was kind of designers and artists and skateboarders and photographers, musicians, and simply because no one had asked me to join their gang. There was lots of other cool collectives out there, and no one had asked me to be in their gang, and I thought, well, I could either wallow in it, which I did a bit, or I can just start my own. Brilliant. You know, no one ever sort of says, well, you only started this because no one asked you. Everyone just thinks, oh, cool, you guys are in a collective, but it's really just because no one else asked me. So I'm kind of going to start with my staple, really. I went to college in Leicester, that's where I'm from, in the Midlands, and I went and studied graphic design. It was kind of, I knew I wanted to make something, to do some creative stuff at school. All I thought graphic design was, and I genuinely thought this, was designing cereal boxes. I don't know where this came from. I think I remember looking at a cereal box, possibly Kellogg's, although it's quite boring, so most probably Sugar Puffs. I would have saw it and gone, well, someone must make this. That's a pretty cool job. Someone has to make this look like this. And so I thought, well, that's graphic design, surely. So I went and did a course at my local college and absolutely loved it. Best couple of years of my life. Just spent all the time thinking about girls and wanting to make films and actually doing any graphic design. But that doesn't matter. My interest and my love of it really came afterwards, and it was kind of cultivated in those 2 years. I didn't go to university. It just wasn't for me. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm incredibly boring. And so I just thought that's what university was for 3 years. So I thought, oh, I don't really want to spend, £1 million kind of doing this. So I'll just try and get a job. So graphic design was really kind of where I began, really. And it's something that I still really, really love doing. I think at the heart of it, I am just a designer. That's it, really. I'm kind of, like I say, jack of all trades, but at heart, when I tell people what I do, I say designer. Because if you start getting specifics, well, I'm a digital designer, I'm a web designer, I don't know, I just think that has kind of certain labels, really. So I just kind of say, I'm a designer. So these are just kind of some examples of what I like to do. Ember is a tool by RealMax Software in Brighton. I've been lucky enough to work with those guys for quite a long time. When I was, as myself, was Jam Factory and as like a small limited company, I kind of ended up hanging out with them, really, and just kind of, I think I did some website themes, which I'll come to in a bit, and they kind of just saw that I did this stuff and kind of played in my own time. I'm like, oh, okay, well, do you want to have a go at a graphic identity? Like, yeah, cool, yeah, okay. Do you want to kind of have a go at character? And things kind of kept going from there. So this is just a logo for their piece of software that I'm kind of really happy with. And I kind of, most of my work is really quite colourful and it's quite bright. I'm not very good at colour palettes. I'm not kind of one of these people that can just see contrasting fades and kind of gradients. I don't know, when someone's just got an immaculate perception of colour, that's not me. So I can only kind of deal in very bright, kind of strong, childlike sort of colours. Mainly it's because I look like I'm 9. I'm still in that mindset. But I've come to realise that being childish is kind of frowned upon nowadays. You grow up and you can't be childish anymore because people don't like that. But you can be childlike. And that's what I really like. You can be childlike and you can be professional but be childlike. You keep the properties of kind of just being imaginative and being playful and being fun, and you can kind of still shoehorn that into the workplace, and that's what I like. And that's kind of how I kind of do my work, really. This was a game logo for a game we made at Arbon called Sprocket Rocket, which was kind of Wallace and Gromit's rocket that you piloted around, and you would just dock your little ship into this area, and you could use your mouse to draw a tool, whatever shape you want, using a geometric grid, and then you would kind of hit this button, and then boop, it would appear, and it was like a physics tool, so you could then use that tool to kind of solve problems and stuff. So I kind of made this logo all nice, a bit textured, and the stuff at Armand I get to do is very, very fun, very, very colourful, very bright. It's intended for children. We kind of make it for all ages, but really you're trying to entertain kids, and something that I loved as a kid was the NBA logos. If anyone played NBA Jam on the SNES, which is one of the greatest games ever made, I was, you know, fascinated by the Charlotte Hornets logo and the Chicago Bulls logo, and they've always kind of stuck with me. And I mean, they're kind of getting this sort of style is very strong at the minute now, isn't it? If you kind of look at the Gawala badges and things like that, everything's kind of harking back to that era. And so this was another series of games that we made for the BBC for Shaun the Sheep called Championships. And you just had a suite of games where you would literally see how many sheep you could stack into a barn, like a physics puzzle, and then this is like an egg and spoon race, but your egg would hatch halfway as you're running, and then it'd stop flying away, and you're trying to catch it. So, you know, it's great fun to kind of be quite childlike and kind of do those things that excited me as a little boy, getting excited with that packaging. But I also like to do kind of, you know, proper graphic design with nice kerning and alignment to grid and stuff like that. And I kind of, because I do so much stuff for entertaining children at work during the day, more and more as I've got older, I've really liked kind of the pared down simplicity of proper graphic design. And I often think this is what I should have been doing at college instead of thinking about films and thinking about girls. But, you know, it took me 10 years to get there, but it's fine. I got there in the end. And this was just, this was a business card for a side project, with a friend of mine, and it's again just really, really nice. I think I more just did it because I wanted to exercise the right to make something kind of really crisp and beautiful. But unfortunately, we later found out, just by coincidence, kind of got the cards printed and then realised, oh, if you turn that on its side, it's the Converse logo. Shit. Always the way. Yeah, more kind of silly graphic design, really. Web Developer Conference is a conference in Bristol run by a friend of mine called Alex Older, and I just like these projects that, you know, will kind of take you a few nights or a week or so, and you just kind of create something from scratch, and, you know, you kind of just have free run with it. And this was just the passes for the second year of the conference, I think. And I just like putting silly little touches, like if you turn it over, it's an error 404 message because you're not supposed to see that site. So I just kind of like playing and doing stuff like that, really. And something that I also really like, and I've recently fallen in love with, is bicycles. I've not always been into bikes. The last time I really had one was when I was a kid, and the amount of Shimano gears that you had was how cool you were. So if you're at a 21 speed, that's it. You're the daddy. I had a 12 speed, and make up of that what you will. But I've recently kind of fell in love with it again through riding a fixed gear bike. Now I know, you know, there's a certain stigma attached to fixed gear bicycles, but I'm not a twat, and I'm kind of inherent. I really want to try and prove that as well. Everyone that rides one is actually very lovely. Again, you'll see later when I speak about a film, but bikes is something I've fallen in love with, and I just kind of like mucking about and doing graphics. I think I was waiting for a piece of footage to convert actually in Final Cut Pro, and just seeing the like button. You know, that's definitely not original. I think Howie's did it as well, but again, I later found out I'm just way too slow at this stuff. But I don't really care. I did it anyway, you know, it's just a bit of fun. Why not? It's just a silly graphic. It made me smile, so. And bikes is something that's kind of really kind of stuck with me. And fixed gear bikes, there's something very, very, like all subcultures, like I used to be a skateboarder, but I was very, very, very bad. And there's a kind of stigma attached to any small subculture. When it gets kind of popular, everyone kind of gets like this and really defensive, and they don't want you to be part of it, and you've got to have a sleeve tattoo to join the gang, and you can't do this, and it's so insular. I think it's very, very negative, and it's not very good. And ultimately, I kind of find it really fascistic. You know, it's like this regime that you can do this, you can't do this, you should do it like this. And so I heard this phrase online, whether it was true or not, that someone on a fixed gear forum said, death before derailleur. Now, if you don't know, a derailleur is the sprocket thingy that has more than one gear. So if you have a derailleur, you have a geared bike. And I was quite worried as to whether that's actually, like they generally meant death before derailleur. You know, fixed one gear is just so much better, and you know, that's quite like aggressive. So when I heard that, it kind of just made me think of the Third Reich, basically, just, you know, really fascistic and quite really, you know, ridiculous. So I just kind of set about making a propaganda graphic, basically. Now this is probably one of my favourite pieces of work, purely because it gets such a reaction. A reaction from, there seems to be three kind of reactions. Someone in fixed gear who really gets the irony, just likes taking the mickey out of themselves, realises it's just a bit of fun. The other group of people who think I'm a Nazi, that's not so much a good thing, especially when I've freshly shaved my head and I'm wearing the t-shirt. That can get me into a bit of trouble. It got my friends in trouble who went to Berlin and wore that t-shirt. And this guy came up to me in German, just really going at him. So, oh, Jesus Christ. But luckily, and I don't know how I managed to resolve it with the guy kind of calming down, my friend had one of these 5-spoke wheels on the front of his bike and just went, trying to point to it. And the guy went, oh, I see. It's not a German accent. But then just instantly calmed down and then went for a beer with them. So, so I just really like that it kind of gets this reaction, really. And I just kind of chucked at the end, in case people don't get it, a party political protocol executed by fixed-gear fascists. And it does get an awful lot of reaction. But I think as a piece of graphic design, it's communicating something. You know, how you take that message is kind of up to you. I'm definitely doing it from the point of irony, but I think the third category of people is people who truly believe it. You know, they bought the sweatshirt because they're like, yes, death before derailleur. But that's their decision, not mine. It was fun making this, but my then girlfriend kind of came home from work and I just had loads of images of the Nazi eagle, tracing them. And she kind of walked in and went, all right? Yeah, just making something. I'll make a cup of tea and phone the police. So it's something that I just love doing, and like I say, because graphic design is really something that I started with and I kind of do more in my own time. I really enjoy just doing the projects that I want to do, just for fun. Web design is really kind of the staple of what I do at the minute, along with games as well, because that's what I do at Digital. I'm senior designer for the digital departments. That's really my role. And I really enjoy doing web stuff, and I more enjoy kind of games and the interactivity. And again, I've just learned so much just over the year because the technology changes so much. You know, are you running HTML7 or you plug it in JSON and CSS23? You know, I find that stuff really interesting, but I don't really care. You know, like, I do care. I know because there's a lot of web people here. I do care, but I more care about making it pretty. And what I love, and especially about the build stuff, actually, that I was talking to Andy today, and he was showing me all the latest work. You know, it is all about design, and it is all about the creation. And I really think that's kind of beautiful. And that's just what I like doing. I just like making the web as fun as possible. Especially at work, we've got our team of developers. I always try and chuck something in there, you know, is that a 24, alphabet channel PNG? No, it's 36. Just like making stuff up, making their life a little bit more difficult. So I like to just kind of try my hand at everything web-wise. This is my own personal site, and like everyone, your own personal site just falls by the wayside all the time. So it kind of does its job, I've got a few drop caps in there, some nice big background images, enough to satisfy me. Although I did notice today that I actually spelt my own header wrong. It says Jam Factory, the digital home of design, Gavin Strange. Not designer Gavin Strange, design Gavin Strange. So, and that's been up there for months, so I'm clearly an idiot. Something that, this is probably one of my favourite web projects actually, is at work we got the chance to work with Ubisoft and their Raving Rabbids, and essentially it was working on their new game, their Travel in Time game that came out earlier in the year. And we just got to have the best fun, just got to design and make this museum just from scratch, all in Photoshop and photographed assets with kind of 3D in the middle. And just basically got to kind of take these mad rabbits, have these great rendered out 3D sequences, and just stick them in this mad world and stick loads of sounds in and kind of make it all in HTML with mixes of Flash and stuff. So it's really, really good to get, really layered and really textured with this. Again, like I say, my graphic design is quite clean and quite bright, but this is, we get to just layer up the effects, and I can legitimately use plastic wrap and stuff like that. I can do things that have been outlawed for years because it's all for the sake of the children. I get to make really, really layered, beautiful, kind of rich, engaging stuff. Again, if you were a kid, and trying to kind of put my mindset of being 6 again and just seeing something, and you're obsessed with an image and just, wow, you had your favourite poster on the wall. I just kind of like trying to recreate that, really. I like how the slides just stuck on the toilet room. That's nice. More kind of textured, layered up stuff. This is a project, an idea I had earlier in the year actually. I had some R&D time at work and I just had an idea for a game, specifically an iOS game because it deals heavily with touch. And we just got to work with a great our developer at work called Ben Reed, and just kind of make fun. And when you go to the site, it's dewdropgame.com. There's kind of like this blob, this kind of physics blob that you can double click to split and chuck around and just kind of play with water, and it's all transparent and stuff. And it's just really, really nice, just kind of making making fun, really. You know, it's just kind of simple as that. Just more textures. I absolutely love going around Arbon, and really fortunate to, I just like befriending everyone there because everyone's so friendly and so talented. So there's people there who, as children, would be making stuff and making models and making puppets and making, you know, just making stuff. And that's what they do as a job. Like, they get paid to go to work as grown men and women and actually make more stuff. And so when there's a feature film happening, like The Pirates, which is the latest stop-motion film, just going around the sets are just absolutely stunning. You know, they will build a full-on pirate ship that is, you know, is probably at least twice as wide as this screen and just as tall. This absolutely huge thing in there, you know, they're animating all these puppets. So to see the kind of craft that goes into it is just really inspiring. And it makes me want to kind of add as much as I can into the website of things as well. And this is a wanted poster generator, because in the film all the different pirates are wanted for different rewards, and so we got to kind of carry on with that aesthetic style, and it uses you can either upload your Facebook photo or a photo from your machine, or you can kind of use your it's a fetching photo, use your webcam and kind of, you know, it's like when you pop your head through the old Victorian sort of seaside thing. You can choose different pirates and stuff, and it just generates a silly name and a silly wanted amount. So it's just really fun to kind of take that stuff and just to run with it and kind of really take the energy that I've seen from the film and put it out there on Tinternet. And this is a quote that kind of really sums up something that clicked for me when I was kind of working for myself, and Jam Factory was kind of getting there, and I was doing my web stuff that kind of I was lucky because I finished my, I've been working for this agency for 4 years, started when I was 17, just super young and eager. And when I got there, and I was like a graphic design kid, they said, they gave me the option. They said, well, do you want to, you can either be a junior graphic designer, or we can teach you to be a junior web designer. I was like, oh, the web, I've heard of this, it sounds good. And I'd played with the web. I'd made a website in Microsoft Word, 97. I kid you not, it fully worked. Well, probably wouldn't work by today's standards, but I kind of tinkered. I had no idea what it was. And I vividly remember going home to my mum and saying, oh, Mum, you know, I've been offered another opportunity at work. They've offered to teach me the web, to be a web designer. You know, okay, what's that? Well, you know, on the internet thing, that thing. And she said, do you think it'll last, though? And I every time, and I know they're recording this, and I'm going to show her this video, because you know, I quite often remind her of it that it's still going, the internet's still there, still going strong. So I got really, really lucky, and doing that just kind of opened up doors for me when I left this place and decided to start working for myself with no idea what I was doing. Am I echoing? It meant that I was the kid who could know the internet. So I used to work above this small skate shop in Leicester called Casino, and I was kind of like, I don't know, the other people there were, have you heard this guy knows the internet? And it was just at a time where businesses wanted to get online. You know, these independent stores, like there was a skate store, there was a card store, there was all sorts of shops. They wanted to get in on that, to get in that early, which was brilliant. So I kind of ended up kind of having one client, then two, then four, then eight. Then, you know, it really, really snowballed because I was just really, really eager to learn. And what I learned through all of this period and just constantly is the harder you the work, then the luckier you get. Totally, you know. I wasn't born with any talent or any, you know, I was not one of these people that from a young age was, oh, he'll be a great graphic designer when he grows up. You know, I was just eating mud and pushing Lego bricks in my eyes and do whatever kids do. You know, I wasn't a genius child, and I'm, you know, still an idiot, but I still managed to work. You know, I figured that I've kind of got where I am, and I'm lucky to be able to speak here today, waffle on about design, because just kind of working hard and just giving stuff a go, really, and just not sleeping an awful lot. So what that meant was I just carry on trying my hand at more and more things, like I say, jack of all trades, and that kind of meant that, oh, I could maybe do some illustration, sort of a bit like graphic design, but with more lines maybe. All right, let's give this a go. So I kind of just branched into that. More, I wanted to try and do something than really, I wanted to try and do something that kind of wasn't connected with graphic design, so I kind of just started pushing. So these are just a few examples of my favourite stuff. And this is one of my favourite pieces. It was actually for a very sad cause, actually. A friend of mine, his girlfriend passed away, and he was just organising an art show to generate some money for a charity. And he basically says her two favourite things were sailors and cats. So I kind of took that quite literally, really. It's like, well, I like sailors and cats. So who's my favourite sailor? Popeye, of course. Who's my favourite cat? And that was obviously very, very difficult until I thought, oh, okay, I quite like Hello Kitty. And so it took me flipping ages just to retrace Popeye from scratch and then to retrace Hello Kitty. I should have showed you the workings out because it took me so long to get the face right. And so I just tried for hours and hours and hours to get all the lines right, to get the sort of right thicknesses. And it didn't even occur to me until I thought, oh, it might be quite nice to have a little bit of text at the bottom. It's like, oh, hello, sailor. Hello, Kitty. Hello, sailor. So I just love it. It's just a bit of fun, a bit silly. People seem to like it. I kind of got a bunch of postcards made up and the prints was sold for charity and people seem to like that. So yeah, I just always kind of come back to that. I think I really like it because I surprised myself because I thought, flipping no, I could never normally do that. People kind of are very good at kind of taking pastiches and kind of taking the mickey out, stuff like that. I'm not very good at it, but I like doing it, so I'm really kind of pleased with that, and it's just a bit of fun, really. I like trying to do kind of magazine editorial illustration whenever I can as well. A good friend of mine called Al Wardle, we used to work at Computer Arts magazine, Computer Arts projects, and I was lucky enough to kind of get a rapport with him, and he'd go, oh, I think this illustration might be up your street, do you fancy doing it? I just like doing it. It's like, yeah, of course, it's just, you get a brief from someone, they're kind of constraining where you're going to go with it, so it's up to you to kind of create something from scratch, and this was about making a profit with streetwear, so, it's just kind of, I think this was probably heavily inspired by Benny Gold, actually, whose work I love. But, it's just good fun to kind of take on those projects and give it a go, really, and just kind of see where you go. It just adds more stuff to your portfolio and lets you bump out talks and waffle on, really, so it's great, it's good fun. This is one of the guys from Real Mac Software again. Like I say, it started out with web design stuff. But because I'd kind of, done a few illustrations and tried my hand at things, they were like, oh, you do illustrations? Yeah, yeah, I do, yeah. Why not? So they kind of wanted each member of staff represented as an avatar. So I just kind of set about almost, they're kind of caricatures, I guess. And this guy, I think he just really liked ninjas or samurais, I think. There must be a reason behind it. I can't have just done this off the top of my head. Did he look like a ninja? I don't know. No, something to do with samurais, I don't know. They're great kind of fun. And again, they're just good fun to do. You get to build a relationship with someone and then you get to make another piece of work for your portfolio. And I just like looking back, just preparing this talk, looking through my old work and just kind of going, oh, that was fun, It's good fun to do, kind of simple as that. All it cost was time, really, for me. And that's kind of it. Stats. Everyone loves stats. I love stats. You love stats. We all love stats. And we kind of started a bit of a tradition in Armour Digital that we'd record our year, really. That gap, that week before Christmas where everyone's just full of, the need and desire to eat turkey and just kind of your brain switched off 3 weeks ago. And, we just kind of like making stuff, and especially because all your clients have disappeared, we still like having fun and making stuff. So we've kind of started a tradition of making stats, really. So we just kind of try and compile the stats as much as we like. That's probably my favourite. 3 members of Slipknot impersonated at the Halloween party. I like that. I was one of them. I was this dude. It's just good fun to kind of make pretty things. And especially this sort of stuff, you get to... I think this was, I recently fell in love with Ty Mattison's work, and I mean, if you look at his work, mine's just a poor example of his, but I kind of don't mind that, it's like when you're young and you're trying to learn, you take the inspiration heavily from someone and you it looks exactly like it, but a lot worse, but then you get to you learn what you're good at in choosing that style, and then you kind of take it and build it on. So that's probably more a homage to him more than anything, but again, it's just good fun to do, and it's a nice way to record your year as well. I think more people should do it. More bike stuff, really. This was for Howie's. Again, I really like Howie's. I like them as a company, and I like what they do, and I like what they stand for. And they had a store in Bristol, so I just kind of hang out, really. A friend of mine worked there, and I'd go there and just kind of go and have a cup of tea and talk about bikes mainly. And they were doing a series of T-shirts, and so they asked if I'd do a T-shirt. And I was like, yeah, I'm an illustrator. That's me. Yep. Why not? Say anything just to get some cool work. And so I did this. It was about... It originally was about cycling and cycling safe, but I didn't kind of want to make it too, well, kind of like, wear a reflector and Always wear your helmet. And, you know, no one's going to care if you tell them it like that. So I thought I'd pick a Wu-Tang lyric, because who doesn't learn something from the Wu? So I did that, and they sent it off to the council, and the council guy went, not really sure about protect your neck, because it's not protecting your neck. Have you tried protect your noggin? I probably shouldn't have said that, because he might watch this and be grumpy with me, but I don't care. No, it can't be protect your noggin, it's protect your neck. Never heard 36 chambers, flipping neck. So yeah, I don't think it was actually ever used, maybe because I guess it doesn't make sense. It's not going to teach anyone to protect your neck, is it? You're not going to get whiplash riding a bike. But I don't care. I made it anyway. And again, it's never seen the light of day apart from in this slideshow and on my Flickr and website and stuff. It's never been printed on a t-shirt, but I don't care. It didn't even look like this originally. It was printed on a gold stock with black print. And then I just thought I'd make it all really textured. Because of all the texture stuff at work, I kind of thought I'd just apply lots of bells and embosses and gold texture. I don't really know why. I think I just thought I'd do it. Why not? I think I made it into an iPad wallpaper. So, you just kind of do stuff, and it's just fun making stuff, really, isn't it? More editorial illustration. I'm very fortunate to get those opportunities, really, and to kind of do it and to give it a go. And I remember being absolutely stacked out with stuff, and I really shouldn't say it. I'm really bad at saying no, but I don't know, at the time, you don't realise that you've got this feeling. You've got this feeling kind of in your brain and on your shoulders, and you're just kind of like this all the time. And it's because it's the amount of stress and the things you've said yes to and the jobs that you need to finish. But I don't know, you always feel like that anyway, so why not just add a little bit more? So I shouldn't have said yes, but I did. Do you want a double-page illustration for a feature? Yes, of course. No, but yes. So I did this. It was about earning money as a freelancer and just, can you recreate an American dollar? Okay. That was the brief, really. So it's just kind of a bit of fun, and it's just nice seeing your work in print, really. I feel so fortunate to be given these opportunities that I really want to take them down. Take them down? That's not the right word, is it? Turn them down. That's it. So I just kind of like saying yes, really. It's not good for me or my health or time, but it doesn't matter. Skateboards. I like skateboards. That's it for that slide. It's not really. I used to be a skateboarder. I started when I was 19, which is a very, very bad idea. You should start when you're 6, and then by the time you're 19, you'll be amazing, and you'll be doing a 360 nollie hard flip down a set of 12, and everyone will be like, whoa, that's a surf. I see a fucking, fuck that one. Sorry, sword. So I just kind of thought, well, okay, I can't, do anything that good on a skateboard. Maybe I can make the skateboards look good. And there's a very famous store in Bristol called 50/50, run by a famous pro skater called Danny Wainwright, who I befriended. And I just got the chance to do some work with him on some boards. And I can't remember why we did this. I think it was a second skateboard I did for them, and I just wanted to do something really, really regal. I think I just quite like doing crests. So I decided to trace the inside of the UK passport and change everything. I don't really know why. It took ages as well. It was an absolute flipping nightmare. And I don't know if you can see is it on there? Yeah, but these are the two guys that own it, because it's 15/50, the two guys, there's a skateboard wheel there instead of the crest and a nut, and these are all skateboard wheels here, and they're little mini decks, and these are nuts, and that's a chain, and da-da-da-da-da. And Sid wears glasses, so he's wearing glasses there. Danny wears glasses, so he's wearing glasses, and Sid wears a nose ring, the two guys that own it. So it was just kind of fun, just kind of plonking stuff in there. And it meant I had a gold skateboard at the end of it, which, who doesn't want a gold skateboard, honestly? And I kind of got lucky again, because Computer Arts saw that illustration. We're like, oh, we really, really like it. Can we have it? Yeah? Yeah. We'll put it on a cover. Yep, you can have that. Yep. So I went from a gold skateboard to a nice silver finish fluor orange cover of Computer Arts. And I've always, everyone's got those things on their list to do. Oh, that's what I want. And a magazine cover was definitely up there. So I was really, really stoked to get that. And I kind of changed it because it was about British design. So I kind of changed it and again kind of tweaked it and added new bits and took things away and kind of made the crest about the kind of essentials of creativity, really, screen printing, computer mice and pencils and kettle, and changed other odds and sods. So it was it still got to leave stuff in, they like the bike chain and they like Sid's nose ring, so I still like that. That's a homage to a guy who owns a skate store in Bristol. but it's on the cover about design, you know, it's great. So you know, just goes to show if you do stuff, then it can just have another life and take on, you know, you never know where it's going to go, really. And this was the very first skateboard that I did for 50, and this is still probably one of my favourite pieces of design, probably more so because I know I could never do it again. I'd be scared to do it again because I know I'd just get it wrong. It was their 10-year anniversary, and I've been a big fan of 50/50 for a long, long time since being a skateboarder. And yeah, they said, would you like to design a board for our 10 years? Oh, God, wow, yes, okay. So I really knew I wanted it to be as good as possible. So I thought because it's about time, I would create something time-based, and, you know, cuckoo clocks are beautiful. So I thought, oh no, I'll make a cuckoo clock, but I'll change every element to be about 50/50. And it started out well, and didn't realise how long it would take. And it was just really, really painstaking. Kind of, again, this is all hinting at 50/50, so you can't really see it in this photograph, but the top are stair ledges and handrails for bikes. This front bit's fascia's made out of skateboards. These two guys are Sid and Danny, who own it. They've got 50/50 tattooed on their crest. The front is a skateboard wheel, the hands are a skate nut. This is actually the skate ramp that's out the back of 50/50. They had a skate ramp outside the store, so that's that, complete with girders. The pendulum is a skate tool. The two boards are the two hangy thingy weight whatsits, I don't know what they're called. And then my little logos on there. So it was quite painstaking to do it. I learnt a thing or two about sending artwork to print for a skateboard, because the guy received the print and went, yeah, there's 13 shades of grey on there. I don't think we can print 13 shades of grey. Can you make it one? Don't know. Luckily I realised I was just being an idiot and I should have done it properly. So, you know, again, you learn an awful lot by doing things like this and sending it to printers, and they just think you're absolute idiots. And then a friend in America just happens to have a laser engraving machine in his garage, as you do. I think all Americans have it. It's state law. I have a 9mm and a laser box. They don't really. They might do, I don't know. And yeah, so he says, oh, it'd be great to work together and laser engrave your cuckoo clock board. I think it's lovely. And they did. They did a one-off board, which I love, and it hangs in the shop at 50/50, and it's just beautiful. I think he did a great job. And again, you know, I didn't know that it would lead to having an engraved piece of work that's kind of permanently on display. And really, really cool. You know, it's really, really nice to have. So you just don't know where these things are going to lead, really. Again, as this talk goes on, you realise I'm just far more stepping out my comfort zone and just going, oh, I want to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I don't care. I'm going to do it. Just like a toddler that just, you know, over the top had too many Smarties. I just love kind of giving stuff a go. And I'm rubbish at drawing. My brother is the star of the family. He can paint, he can draw, he can do lino cutting. He is a boy genius. He just graduated Cambridge University. He is a very, very smart man. And I didn't get any of that. So I just make faces on wood. Honestly, you should see, Daniel Strange is his name, you should search his work. He's, you know, charcoals, oils, gouache. I got my dad to chop me some wood and I just made some stupid, goofy faces on it. But I kind of like that, you know, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'm just not very good. I've never been good at drawing and painting, but I always liked doodling. I always liked drawing as a child, and you know, and doing that sort of stuff, and just kind of worked with what I've got, which is not a lot, which is sticking eyes on things, really. So I kind of figured out my strengths, which is just being a bit silly, but you know, that's it's fine. It's fun. It's especially nice doing this stuff and not being on a computer. I really kind of enjoy that. And again, just kind of, by doing stuff and putting it out there, they don't know that you don't know what you're doing. They being the internet and just people looking, they see your work and that is it. You know, if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. Simple as that. So this was a skateboard I painted for an exhibition at Howie's alongside lots of fantastic other skateboard designers, Jim Phillips being the man. If you've ever seen the blue screaming Santa Cruz hand, that's Jim Phillips, you know, absolute legend. And I got to be in a show alongside him because I just kind of made it known that I like skating and I like painting and I like doing stuff. And so it just goes to show you never really know how far you're going to go, and if you just kind of push stuff, then good things can happen. So this is just a big gold fuzzy ball doing a little golden poo. There's a little poo there, look. Why not? I like trying to be a kind of arty-farty as well. I did this, there's a lovely old rec yard in Bristol, and they just had a bunch of old, like, light coloured blue, I forgot the word, what's light coloured blue? Light coloured blue. Anyone? Light coloured blue? Teal, that's it. Yeah, I just found a bunch of them and just thought it'd just be nice to paint a circle in an allotrope of carbon. Why was that? I can't think why. Oh, that's it. With this exhibition, Synthetic, this creative collective that I started, we had a series of exhibitions called Carbon and Chemicals. And everything was lo-fi, nothing was done digitally. All the photographs were shot on Lomo cameras and then processed film, so everything was documented that way. All the paintings were hand-done screen prints, because Waste Screen Print Studio in Nottingham, they printed everything because they were part of Synthetic. And so I got to kind of paint stuff, and I'm quite into science and stuff like that. And I don't really, again, I don't understand it, but I like it. And I like an allotrope of carbon does look like that. So when you break down this carbon molecule, I don't get what it is, but I think it's quite pretty. So I just kind of thought I'd go a bit arty-farty, and I think I was just trying not to do a goofy character on a wood at the time. So I stuck with the wood, but then I thought I drew something. And that's in my flat, and people always go, "Oh, that's nice. It's fancy. Who did that?" Me. Don't just draw stupid faces. But I've never drawn anything like that since, because I'm scared it will be rubbish. So continuing the theme of just drawing silly monsters, I did this project in Bristol when I worked for myself, just as more to learn about getting better. I used to live with an artist called Rich T, and he's very, very, very good at drawing. And I just learned an awful lot watching him draw and kind of soaking up how he does things. And I just did a project called Free Art Friday. And every Friday I just get a white bit of thick foam board and a gold pen and draw a character, cut it out, leave a message on the back, and just leave it on the street. And just leave it for someone to come and take. I never knew if they got picked up or if they got binned or the wind blew them away. But I did it for quite a long time, and it was just a really nice thing. I mean, I think this is a very, very early one, and this is kind of coming along a lot more. And you can just tell by just the amount of lines, you know. I'm always scared to add stuff, because if you draw it, then you can't take it away, you know. So I just kind of, it was just a good exercise in A, getting out of the city, and B, just kind of just trying stuff and just learning. So that was, you know, it was just really, really nice to get out there. And I got to, over the years, kind of mix doing stuff together. So I liked painting, and I kind of, I've always been into vinyl toys and characters and stuff, you know, as you saw with the silly characters. And again, just kind of getting out there and being involved in stuff and trying my hardest at stuff. I did a series of toys, which I'll come to in a minute, and kind of did a few customs and was taking part in shows, and not very good, you know. You look at my work next to anyone else's, and it's not very good, but maybe they just go, "Oh, he's trying, bless him, he's trying." Maybe my mum emails all these people and go, "Now, Gavin's very sensitive. If you could just let him take part in the show, then that'll be fine." Maybe she does. It just clicked. Maybe that is her. So, luckily enough, I got to work with Mad Magazine. And it was their 50th anniversary of Spy vs. Spy, one of the very, very famous comics from the 60s. And they sent out a bunch of blank toys. So that's what I did with him. I turned him into Pinocchio. And I don't know why, I just liked his kind of big spiky nose, and I called it "I'm a Real Spy." I'm a real spy. It's just good fun, you know, why not? Some of the customs were absolutely incredible, and they just turned them into just stuff you would never, ever think of. But it was just nice just to, again, be a bit silly, and I kind of like with the Hello Sailor thing, I just kind of like playing and, you know, taking the mickey out of things that everyone loves, really. So that was just amazing to be involved with. And carrying on from what you saw there was toys, really. Again, I've always been into characters, and I've been into collecting toys for quite a while. I kind of first got into it seeing some Michael Lau work, which, again, you'd really recognise if you've not heard of his name. He was basically the man who invented collectible designer toys. And I remember kind of seeing stuff in Play Lounge in London, the toy store, and I saw stuff there, and I was like, so this is a toy store, but for grown-ups. Like, this is amazing. Wow, okay, I didn't really know this whole world existed. So I remember coming back, and I was like, right, okay, I've got to find some stuff. I need to buy it online. I don't really know what to search for, because I didn't really know what they were. So I just went, adult toys. It didn't look like that. That looked like one. Oh, is that what you... Oh, God. So I quickly found out there's a very big difference between vinyl toys and adult toys. You know, whatever you like is up to you. I'm not judging. But I was lucky enough to join this world of vinyl toys, not adult toys. That's a different slideshow. And someone just sent me an email, I had all my work on MySpace at the time, because I kind of used that because before, you know, people had their Facebook pages and stuff. I just had like my site and then just had my work and stuff on there, kind of a customizer profile. And someone saw some doodles and some sketches, again, really crap, sort of basic drawings and stuff, but they seemed to like them, and just said, have you ever thought about getting your work made as a vinyl toy? I was like, oh man, wow. Well, yes, I would love to, but I don't really know, you know, how does that work? You can't just get it made. And as luck would have it, he put me in touch with a guy called Andy, who owned a company called Crazy Label, who produced a toy called the Treason, really, really popular toy. And just through a series of exchanges, I just kind of said, hello, you make toys, and I'd love to make a toy. Can I make a toy? And he just went, yeah. But, oh, really? Yeah. And as luck would have it, it was just good timing. He was looking to work with other artists at the time, and I was just excited about everything. And it just kind of happened. And this was the very first series of toys that I designed called Droplets. Again, you can tell that I'm not very clever at drawing kind of elaborate shapes, but I just kind of like simple, sweet, kind of bright colours. And this is what they became, just all themed on rain droplets, really, with the different colourways. And these little fellas on the head were kind of like sploshies that kind of splash back out, but they've got little schools on because they're evil, and they actually control the droplets cased within its little hood. Of course, it's all perfectly self-explanatory. And I got to really geek out on the packaging as well, which was nice, because all the toys were so slick and they had a really glossy feel. I wanted the packaging to kind of be the opposite of that, so we used nice kind of recycled brown cardboard, and then all the design was all spot UV, because obviously if you put spot UV on anything, then it makes it awesome. They are the rules. I was told this a long time ago, and as far as I'm aware, it still is the deal. So that's what I did to make it good. And I just got a nice hip-hop reference on there, as slick as Rick, because I just like hip-hop references and everything. Yeah, and it was great. They had I'd organised a little launch in Birmingham at a place called the Custard Factory, and that was cool, and people came and bought toys, and kind of blew my mind, really. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I had no idea how the reception would be, and I just had no clue, and people seemed to like them, and they were in stores. They were in Urban Outfitters in the States, which kind of blew my mind. They took 80 cases of them, which was brilliant, and yeah, you just start seeing them popping up around the world, and you know, I was just truly kind of like blown away, really, by the reception that I'd made a physical thing I designed was out there and in people's homes, and people were buying it, and it was in stores, you know, like it kind of completely blew my mind, and just showed what can happen when you go from just creating kind of digital things to actual possession. People still love things and stuff, and it kind of, I think it helped kind of raise my profile in the sense of what is Jam Factory and what the hell is it and who is he, because there was something real, that a tangible product or something that people could associate with it. And so I never really knew that would happen, and that was really nice. You know, I got to meet some fantastic people, and I just got to make a toy, and it was successful enough that I got to make the second series, and this was series 2 of Droplet. It was released in February last year, and I did the same thing. I did a little launch. So okay, you know, I want to get a bit bigger this time. So I had an art show with fantastic customized droplets from people, and I designed a little tote bag and a T-shirt, and we had some droplet cupcakes for everyone, and had a projection on the side of the wall with an animation that a friend of mine, Kieran O'Connor, made, and yeah, it just kind of upped the game, and I had no idea what was going to happen. Would anyone even come? Does anyone care? You know, well, I don't flipping know. And then it was about 20 to 6, and the thing opened at 6, and someone said, have you checked the street? So that's street lingo. What does that mean, to check the street? But no, go and look outside. And there's a flipping queue up the street for people to get in. And oh God, my mind just went, you know, like I was just truly just a bit of a wreck. Just, oh, thank you. You know, I just couldn't believe it. So that, you know, that again, I got to meet fantastic people and got some amazing opportunities, and I got to do we got to go around Apple stores giving talks about the toys, and really happy. And they still exist now, they're still out there. So that was just kind of amazing, and that just meant that I kind of could get into other areas as well. And this was like another toy, a spin-off toy, and this is Shirley Creamhorn, and this is the Shithawk. Self-explanatory, really. It's a poo with wings. And that just came about because a sculptor in Colombia sent me an email saying, "Hey Gav, I like your work. I'm a sculptor. Here's my work," which is incredible. His name's Alex Evelino. Fantastic sculptor, just makes some amazing stuff. "Do you want to work on something?" It's like, okay, yeah. And I think I'd not long finished, I think it was Droplet Series 1 actually, and I was sick of drawing this shape. It's like, I know I can do more than this. Come on, I'll flipping hell, come on, I can do more than a droplet shape. So I think I'll just doodle one day. And previously where I used to work, there was a series of a tradition of the designers would, when you can write away in the back of magazines and like get a free pen, and you'd always get a free engraved pen with anything. Well, there seemed to be a tradition of everyone would fill out those forms for everyone else, so you get loads of crappy pens but with fake engraved names. And I got one for me one day called Shirley Creamhorn, just as my alter ego, and that was my pen. And I've always kept that name in any kind of video, anything that I've ever done that I've been credited in. If I'm credited more than once, like a personal project, I always put Shirley Creamhorn. It's like this alter ego that I've had, and I've always just liked the name. And so I don't know where the Shithawk came from, but I drew Shirley and just drew the Shithawk, and I just sent Alex's sketch. I mean, I don't know what, considering he saw my work, which was droplets, and then I sent him back a woman with a poo on her head. He must have been like, yeah, I think I got the wrong email address. But he was like, I love it. And then he kind of sent me a sculpt, and they exist, so they exist as toys. I'm still they're in Colombia at the minute with him, and his house is taken over by boxes, 500 of these flipping toys with poos on their head, and we're still trying to get them over. But, it's a fantastic opportunity, and I got to make a woman with a poo on her head. So, so again, you never really know where it's gonna lead, really. And so, as well as doing all the stuff that's always on a computer, I guess because it's visual, I've just always been into photography. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I started at college where I wish I would have listened to what they were telling me about, here's your shutter speed, here's your aperture, here's your ISO, this is what this means. I just didn't really pay any well, I kind of did, but just enough to get by. I didn't really hone in on it. I like taking photos, but I think I'm more like the end result than the actual physical process of it. But over the years, I've always enjoyed taking it, and it's taken me a good 10 years. Like I say, I started when I was kind of 17 at college, and I'm 29 now. It's taken me 10 years to finally understand what aperture does, what shutter speed does, what ISO does, and if you mix them all together, you can actually take photographs. So it's been kind of just something in the back of my mind that I've been doing all the time. I don't class it as work. I take a camera everywhere I go. And these are just some of my favourite shots in recent times recently that I just I think I finally feel comfortable. I wouldn't say I'm a photographer, but I feel like I'm comfortable with the camera. I kind of just try and shoot just interesting stuff around me. This was last Christmas, and this dog is just the most mellow dog, super lovely, normally so quiet. It's a bit, it gets a bit wappy when it gets excited, but that's it. And then we just went for a Christmas walk, and this lovely little fella just came round and was like, hello, I'm a little tiny dog, hello. And then kind of just kept like hopping up against Big Dog, just going, hello. And Big Dog was like, yeah, you're kind of doing it, yeah, you're doing it now, yeah, you're little. And then just kind of, she just went, Rah! And went to bark. And then just at the right moment, she didn't bolt, she just went, and I just happened to be shooting at the right moment. And I don't know, I mean, it's, it's not composed correctly, and it's not, I've not treated it, I've not done anything to it, it's not exposed perfectly, but I just kind of like the story it tells, really. And that's kind of just like the photography I like, just capturing where I am, who's around me, what the weather's like, and just kind of something simple, really. It's just kind of recording. I'd hope to look back in a long time when I'm kind of old and go, oh, I used to take photos. Yeah, whatever, Grandad. Yeah, shut your face. I don't care. Cameras, what the hell is a camera? It's in my retina now. So I just like kind of taking those, just kind of snapping stuff away, really. But again, as I've done it more and more, I've learned an awful lot more. I kind of try to know what I'm looking for and kind of what I want to shoot. And This is a guy called Ricky Martin, I kid you not. A very good friend of mine. He works at Aardman. He's just a genius. He's a presenter, he's a creator, he's a doer, he's a thinker. And this is a camera he made. He's made himself a pinhole camera. But he wasn't just happy it just being like a single black box. He was like, I'm going to put some edges on it. I'm going to put a nice little winder on it. You know, kind of geeked it out, styled out his camera. And I just like taking photographs of interesting people, really. And so I like trying to take portrait photos because, again, you just kind of feel like you're learning an awful lot. You know, if you've got someone there and you're going, okay, you know, you've got to act like you know what you're doing to kind of get the best from them. This is Bristol's favourite power couple, Dan and Claire Efagan. I went to their wedding, and Dan's my creative director at Aardman, and he's just the nicest bloke in the world. He's one of my closest friends, and because he knows everyone in Bristol. He's just one of these media people where everyone knows him. I mean, he's got a fantastic beard, so you know everyone knows him by the beard. And everything was picture perfect. And even when their first dance was happening, the light, that was not staged or anything. He had it in this beautiful old converted barn, and the light was just hitting him from the top. You know, just absolutely perfect. So it was really nice to kind of capture that. And you know, it was really nice. I like looking at this and going, oh, you know, that was a couple of years ago. It was a really nice time. So this is one of my favourite shots. This dog is flipping massive. He must stand. I'm not exaggerating about this. So I can't remember what kind of dog it is. Gargantuan, I don't know. Absolutely massive. And it was at my cousin's wedding, and they had a heated pool outside, and it was a very hot day. So all the kids were kind of playing around near the pool, and this dog would just stride by and just like bash him in the pool, and just kind of like this absolute monster of a dog. And then it just got way too hot, and he just kind of trotted round and just sat in the pool for ages. Just kind of sat there, and I just thought it was perfect. Such a strange photo. I really like capturing things like that, really. But through all of this, it's just helped me kind of get somewhere. And this is one of our fearless leaders, Mr. Nick Park. Now, this man is a hero to me. You know, growing up, watching more, you know, Pete Lord and Dave Sproxton who started Aardman, you know, that was their creation. And Wallace and Gromit, you know, I've known this stuff since I was a kid. So through the weird tangled possibilities of just doing stuff. So I kind of just made it known at Aardman that I like taking photographs. I just like capturing stuff, and I tend to have my camera with me most of the time. And I don't know, I just like shouting about it. Like this, like why I'm just shouting about just doing stuff, because I'm so lucky to be and privileged to be given these opportunities. I feel like I must shout about it because I'm scared that people will take it away. So I kind of like just doing stuff. And so I just made it known that I enjoy doing photography. And then I ended up meeting Nick and was a big fan. I mean, obviously I work for him. So, you know, he's a very, very nice bloke. And we just got on really well. And it turns out that he needed some photographs taken for whatever reason. And his PA knew I was into photography and just thought I'd reach out to Gavin and see if he'd like the opportunity. I'd never shot any proper portfolio profile photography before. And I really didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I really, really wanted to. And he was super nice, super understanding. And, you know, we just got to chat and just what it meant when I would look back at that photo. And you know, if you would have told me, this 17-year-old designer in Leicester, not having a clue, not knowing what I was doing or where I would ever go, I thought I'd just be in Leicester and I'd just be a junior designer for the rest of my life. And then to be here showing you a photograph I took of one of my heroes, Nick Park, you know, kind of blows my mind. And it is all just through kind of doing stuff, really. So, you know, you just never know by shouting and doing things and just kind of building and breaking and making and doing, you know, you don't really know where it's going to go. So. And then through photography, kind of, it led into filmmaking. Now I say filmmaking with bunny ears quotes because I'm a filmmaker, which means I don't know what I'm doing. Again, I like doing it and I love kind of the thrill of trying to make something come together, but I really don't know what I'm doing. And throughout the time I was into photography and illustration, all this stuff that I've been showing you, I just like shooting videos. With kind of basic cameras, normally it was skateboarding and stuff like that, and just whatever was around me. I just like making edits, mainly chuck a good music track in there, edit it to the time in music, then boom, you know, that was the sort of stuff. But so I've always been into that in the sideline, and it kind of took a step up a few years ago when I started riding this fixed gear bike. and I started kind of capturing it really. I would take my then very basic camera out and start filming my friends, the riders that I was with, and just thought I'll just make a little bit of a teaser, you know, I'll just stick something together. I'm very good with my editing partner in crime, Johnny Clooney, about we would say we're going to make a film, we're going to do it, but we'll make a trailer. So we're really good at making trailers, and then a trailer for something that would never exist. But that's fine, because you just go, I'm incredibly busy, it will be coming soon. And the amount of times I'd have to change the thing from coming 2008, yeah, shit, we need to redo that frame, coming 2010. You know, this time actually followed through. And yeah, so basically I made this film called Bike's Mind, and it started life because just filming cohorts of my friends really, and because being in Bristol, when you move there, everyone speaks a bit like this, you know, for a play, speak a little bit like a farmer. You know how it is, here we go then, cheers for a play, and you can't help but kind of mimic their accent when you're there, to the point of, you know, you'd be in a shop and you'd say thank you, and they go, cheers, and without thinking, you go, cheers. And normally, when you first go there, you kind of do it because you're kind of like, hey, this is funny, I'm kind of taking the mickey, but it's fun. But then, you know, when you do something for so long, you forget that you were doing it as a joke, and then you just do it. So, you know, all right, cheers, yeah, fair play, cheers, there we go. You know, I kind of do it, and then the bike scene got bigger with fixed gear, and speaking to friends, and they go, oh, it's just a bike, isn't it, mind? It's just a bike, mind, there we go, fair play. So I was like, oh, bike's mine, okay. Okay, bike. Oh, I quite like that. I thought if I stick some umlauts on it, then everyone will think it's like a Swiss modern film noir avant-garde film. And if I set it in red and white, people will think it's going to be so good. So really, everyone kind of thinks, like no one can ever pronounce it, which I absolutely love. I think it's brilliant. People go, oh, I've heard about this. Is it, who's the director? Is it a modern thing? And it's just an idiot with a camera filming friends with funny accents on funny bikes. But it's been a brilliant project for me. I've managed to take all of these elements that I've loved and kind of build them into one thing. So I've got to do graphic design. So this is the logo, the shield, and I've got to really exercise my, you know, really treat it proper graphic design and super simple, super minimal, kind of reflect the fixed gear bike. You know, there's nothing on it that doesn't need to be. It's very, very simple. So I kind of got to follow up through the graphic design with the logo. Got to have real fun with print as well. When the film was coming out, and it was very close out, I really wanted a big event at the premiere, and managed to secure, through the might of Aardman and people helping an awful lot, managed to get one of the huge BBC screens that are outdoors in Bristol and, you know, all around the country. Managed to get it on there for an outside screening, so it's open to all. You could ride in, bring a blanket, you know, completely open to everyone. And I really wanted people to be there because it worked so hard and hyped it up so much. I was terrified no one would turn up, and I just thought, it'd be nice to compliment people. So I just made a tag that on one side said, nice bike, mind. If you didn't understand it, then you probably just think, who's this foreign dude just hanging stuff on my bike, get off it. But I kind of like that if you do get it, you get it. But, you know, so on the front says, nice bike, mind, and then says, if you want to see other nice bikes, come to the premiere of the fixed gear bicycle documentary Bike's Mine, Saturday, 20th of August, my name is Square, something, I can't read the small print. So that was really good fun, that I've kind of got to take all these disciplines, stuff I've loved, and really kind of treat it, you know, in the same style, like a massive project, really. I got to make the website as well. So again, you know, you saw earlier, my stuff is very textured, very rich, especially for Aardman. You know, it's very, very layered on. So I really got to kind of go the other way and pare it down, go super simple, treat that in the web design as well. So it's been a really great exercise in kind of just playing, really. And so what I'm going to show you next is the trailer. This kind of, I'd like to think you don't have to be into bikes to enjoy it, really. It's just kind of, I'm trying to explain it. It's just kind of a celebration of a community of people riding together, as simple as that. It just so happens they're all on a bicycle, really. Are we all good for sound? Sweet. So yeah, so it's just kind of a celebration of all these people, these characters really, that kind of come together and ride these bikes. And again, through kind of learning photography, the film was shot completely on Canon 550 DSLR. So basically, it's just like setting up a photo, which I loved. You know, I could set the depth of field, I could set the shutter speed. I could kind of frame it and focus it like it was an actual picture, and that made a massive, massive difference for this. So I got to make it look pretty. I think that was always my backup. I thought if the film's crap, then at least it'll look pretty. That's, you know, that's my backup for life. You know, that's that's fine. So yeah, so this is the trailer. It's only a couple of minutes long. I hope you like.
A fixed gear bike is a very rudimentary machine that moves with the person as you're riding it.
You're connected to the rear wheel, essentially. You haven't got the, you could say, luxury of a free wheel. So
initially seeming counterintuitive, it makes a lot of sense on the road just because you've got very little to worry about in terms of maintenance and looking after it. Not worrying as much about gear and everything like that, just riding.
They couldn't be more mechanically simple as terms of a piece of transport, but yes, it's wheel, pedals, person, and that gives you kind of your go, and that's what I like.
What is it? What is it?
It's a bike which you control, and the bike doesn't control you.
The bike with no gears and no brakes. It's a bloody unicycle with a front wheel. I don't know.
It's just a bike with a lot of mythology attached to it. The classic being that everyone thinks, how can you ride it? It's going to tear you apart, you're going to be thrown off and you can't stop, you're going to never stop, you'll be, you know, you're going to face plant a bus and your teeth are going to end up in your eye socket, and it just doesn't happen. You're not riding an alligator with wheels.
At the end of the day, it really comes down to how good a rider that you are, because the machines, there's not much that separates all of them.
You grow up, you can't ride a BMX, you can't ride a skateboard, so you just find the next stupid thing that your mother doesn't approve of. Done.
It's been a mad experience, really. From, like I say, I knew I wanted to make a film, and I just thought it was going to be like a little edit. There was a trailer that came out a few years ago, and it just looked like it'd just be riding to music. And then I thought, I know, I'll make a documentary. How hard can it be? Very hard, very hard. But it just spiraled out of control, really. It just kind of, through then joining Aardman, it meant I had access to very smart people, very connected people, very enthusiastic people, and it just kind of took on a life of its own. And the film, yeah, grew into this 30-minute documentary with special sequences that we went to film, and you know, it's kind of, it just grew into something far bigger than I ever imagined it could. And that's just through kind of connecting with people and making friends and just kind of going, oh, do you know how to do this? Because I haven't got a clue, you know, and just kind of getting excited and sharing this vision of this is what I want it to be. And yeah, I can't kind of believe it's out there. I was here in Belfast just 3 weeks ago at the On Your Bike film festival, because it showed as part of that, and it's screening all around the world now. There's places lined up in Australia, Singapore, America, all over England, just all over the shop, really. And so, yeah, I can't quite believe that. I still kind of, I don't know, I can't quite believe that it exists and it's out there and people are really enjoying it. But I like to think it's just because it's a positive celebration of just people doing stuff. It's kind of irrelevant that it's on a bike. It's even more irrelevant that it's on a fixed gear bike. It's just people, a community of people get together to do stuff, hang out, have a good time, and kind of be engaged with something and with other people. And I just think that's a beautiful thing. You know, you don't have to, it isn't kind of being like death before derailleur. That's so not the feel of it. So yeah, I've learned an awful lot of things doing that, and I'm kind of now exercising more graphic design stuff, because instead of making a DVD, just like a plastic DVD, I'm kind of making a 30 by 30 centimetre photo book, because I don't, you know when you get like these nice kind of limited edition DVDs and you try to look at the pictures and you go, oh, I don't want to break the glue, oh, I think that's a nice photo, oh, you know, you don't actually want to open it. I kind of want something you can go, right, come and have a look at this, kids. I don't know, kids, I'm trying to be a granddad. You know, if you're a granddad, when you're old, hang on, where am I going with this? I don't really know. Okay, when I'm a granddad and I'm old, you know, I want to have this big photo book. I'm really dangerous ground there. You know, you want to show them pictures, and you know, you want to look at stuff and kind of look at a memory and kind of relive that, rather than just, you know, you don't want to open a book. So that's really nice to kind of geek out on print stock and, you know, spot UV, which makes everything awesome, obviously, and all that kind of stuff. So that's a massive thing that's kind of all consuming my life at the minute, but, you know, in a great way. So I guess really to kind of, I wanted to sum up, I was thinking about this talk and really what have I learned, I guess, in these kind of 10 years of doing all this stuff and just trying my hand and just being an idiot and making friends and doing stuff is one thing that I know that is, we're all sponges. You're a sponge, I'm a sponge, we're all sponges. And this was something that came from a conversation with Danny Fagan, my creative director at Aardman, and we've spoken at talks in the past, that really you are a sponge, because when you're making stuff and you're doing stuff, you're full of inspiration and ideas and excitement, but over time you just kind of get wrung dry, you know? You get absolute, you know, you get to the end of a project or a year, or, you know, whether it's a time frame or project specific, and you're just like, I'm just done, you know? I haven't got any ideas, I don't know what I'm doing it, I don't know what I'm doing it, good England, I don't know what I'm saying. You know, you don't know where you're going to go, and you feel dry, you can't take on the next project, you need to treat yourself like a sponge. You need to, you know, once you're wrung dry, you need to kind of sit back, you need to go away, you need to soak up inspiration, whether that is just going to the pub for an evening, or that's going on holiday, or just spending time with your family or your loved ones. It's just something to be said for taking the time, taking an amnesty from input as well. It's also very easy to overload yourself, especially now with Tinternet, to be given so much stuff, you know, you kind of feel like you're a bit burnt out, and then you go on Found, and then you just see all these images, and then you're kind of fired up, but not properly. I think there's something to be said for taking the time out, going to see family, ringing your nan, say how are you, you know, just stepping outside your world, because it's very easy to get very insular and kind of obsessed with it. So yeah, it's nice to be sponge-like and just kind of, you know, take stuff in. I think it's also important to extract those ideas out of your brain, to just, I've only just realised recently by using Evernote actually, that when I'm in bed and I'm, you know, you've had a busy day and you go, right, okay, I'm absolutely knackered, I'm going to sit here, and your brain goes, right, let's have a think about those things that you didn't do today. And you're like, no, shush, and your brain's going, no, let's have a chat. It's like, no, let's not have a, and you know, and it's like 2:30 in the morning. There's something to be said for just going, right, I'm going to get up and I'm going to write these ideas down, no matter how silly they are, whether it's just a one-line phrase or it's you've had a thesis for the expression of particle physics. It doesn't matter what it is, just get it kind of out there and extract your brain and share it with people as well. I found I used to be very good at just kind of keeping projects insular, and you know, there's a difference between having ownership of something and sharing your excitement with others who might bounce ideas off you, and you know, you take those things further. So there's definitely something to be said for kind of working with people, both on an actual project or just spending time with others and kind of bouncing ideas off. And it's getting those ideas out that I found really help. I've got a text file on my machine that is literally just full. It's called Silly Names and Words, and I've got this thing where if I mishear words wrong or phrases or just have silly ideas, I like to write them down and make them out to be fictional band names. Some of my favourites, Cup of Tits, that's probably one of my favourites. If I was in a band called Cup of Tits, we'd be rocking. La Hard Sex Gay, I don't really know where that came from. Pigs, Wigs and Twigs, I just like the way it rhymes. Gimps or Chimps, it's kind of like Hot or Not, I think. Maybe you should have a photo of a gimp or a chimp, and you've got to choose which one's which. Pissed on Fudge. I just like writing things down. You know, it just kind of gets it out there, and you never know. So many of those things, like the Protect Your Neck graphic and Hello Sailor, kind of come out of ideas of just stupid words and phrases that are just in your brain. You know, and that's the thing, they're in your brain, but then you can quite easily forget them. And you never know when you might need to go back, kind of like pick through the files and go, Pissed on Fudge, brilliant, yeah, let's use that. You know, so there's something to be said for kind of getting them out your brain, whether it's sharing with other people or doing it yourself. And I guess one thing that I've always kind of tried to live my life by and career by, again, not knowing what I'm doing, is something that these fellas said, Mr. Eric B. and Mr. Rakim, philosophers, you know, fantastic philosophers, who said, don't sweat the technique. Said it in 92, it's as true then as it is now. You know, I don't sweat the technique. No techniques I'll be sweating. I don't. So, I need to get a chain out of this dude. Like I said, I don't know how to do things. I don't know the right way to write a jQuery solution to a blah, 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 blah. I don't care. It's a means to an end, isn't it? I don't let myself get too hung up on the details, really. And if there's a right or wrong way to do something, like creativity is creativity. Just make stuff. You know, it's kind of simple as that. And that's me personally. You know, there's a lot of people that their careers and their lives are built on techniques and how you do things. And now, without those people and that attitude, I couldn't do what I do because I don't understand those techniques. But they need to be there, they need to be created, and that's amazing. But for me, don't sweat it, you know, just do things. You know, if you understand it, you do. If you don't, you don't. You know, you'll either figure it out and stumble through, or you'll make friends who can help you out. So, you know, Eric B. and Ricky said it well. So I guess it just brings me round to, you know, build stuff, break stuff, do stuff, and make stuff. Kind of simple as that. So, thanks very much for listening. Very kind. I think we're going to